In this video, we are going to be talking about angel numbers, what they are, why we see them, and what we need to do when we see them so that we can take full advantage of the messages that they're trying to give us. My name is Catherine. I'm an energy healer, spiritual coach, and nurse practitioner. If you need personalized coaching or an energy healing from yours truly, then you can go to my website at catherineglassman.com, or you can email me at hello@catherineglassman.com. So this video comes as a special request from a commenter who wanted to ask me about what I thought of angel numbers. And so this video is for you. Angel numbers are a sequence of numbers that appear to us in a number of forms, right? So we can see them either through a license plate number, a phone number, the time on a clock. Pretty much anywhere you see numbers is where you can see angel numbers, okay? Now, the term angel numbers is referring specifically to a repeated number, like a sequence of numbers. So, for example, 111, 222, or 333. Even when you look at the time and you see 1111, that is considered to be an angel number. I actually like the term angel number because I have never had a situation or an experience when it came to numbers and messages that came through numbers and it be negative, really. And we're going to talk about some of the numbers that are associated with negativity, or at least one of them anyway. And I'm going to clear the air on that particular number. But yeah, I really do feel that they come from your guides. Some of them come from your angels, and they've always been just positive or at least useful and helpful. Seeing repeated numbers is often one of the first things that one will experience while going through a spiritual awakening. Once you start to wake up and just notice things around you, you will often just see like the same repeated number over and over again. Just every time you look at a clock or every time you're driving, you just so happen to look at this one license plate and it is that same number, or you look at a billboard or something and you just cannot get away from this particular number. I think that there are a lot of people out there who are not going through a spiritual awakening and see it and might think that it's bad. Or, of course, most will just think it's a coincidence, but there will be some people that will think that it's a bad sign. And I can assure you that it's not. It is just a way that the universe is just trying to talk to you, which is nice because honestly, going through an awakening and, developing psychic abilities and things like that, these messages get really confusing. Yeah. And energy is very convoluted. And so this is why being a professional psychic medium can be so difficult, because you could be picking up on different energies and not knowing exactly where you're picking it up from, because you're just picking up energy from a one source of consciousness. And so to pick and choose what information is relevant at the time is very difficult. And so when you get messages in the form of numbers, it actually helps clarify some things within your life, which is nice. Now, keep in mind that they don't necessarily have to be just a sequence of numbers by themselves, but they can be a sequence of numbers within a larger sequence of numbers. For example, if you are looking at a receipt from a restaurant and the number, the change given or the total equals out to $14.40, you may see a message within the 144 rather than the 1,440. And so it's really going to depend on how you're feeling at the time and if you get drawn to a certain sequence of numbers. If you are just laser focused on these particular set of numbers, then there is usually a reason for that. Another thing to keep in mind is that the interpretation of these numbers can be different for everyone. most people will have a background or some sort of knowledge about numerology. Numerology is everywhere, especially when it comes to tools of divination and things like that. And so, if you want to study up on numerology and just understand what each number symbolically means, that will be really helpful. But more importantly, if you find some sort of resource that will help you understand what these numbers mean, then your guides, your angels, the way the universe speaks to you is going to use that piece of information to give you a message because they know that you know or understand or believe that these numbers mean this, and therefore they're going to use that set of information to give you a message. A lot of the interpretations of these numbers do have a lot of similarities, but they're not all exactly the same. So just keep that in mind. So if you're having a conversation with someone and they're kind of arguing with you that 1111 actually means this and you have a different interpretation of that, that's the reason why, because your message is just going to be different, and that's okay. But if you are having a conversation and you don't really have an interpretation of that number, but then someone tells you what their interpretation is, that could be the universe's way of giving you some sort of interpretation so that you can lock that into your spiritual toolbox and use it for later on. So I will go over with you my own channeled information and interpretation of a certain set of numbers from 111 to 999. And some of it I have looked up before, especially when I was first going through my awakening. I just kept seeing different numbers and I kept going on the internet or Pinterest or getting books. And I think I have 2 books that talk about angel numbers. And their interpretations are actually quite different. But since then, I have meditated and channeled information so that I can have a better interpretation of what those numbers mean to me. So that is what I'm going to share with you. Am I saying that my interpretation is universally correct? No. I mean, really. Is anything that I say universally correct? Probably not. The point is that I'm sharing it with you because if it resonates with you and if you feel like that is something that you want to adopt, then by all means, that's what this video is for. I mean, that's what all my videos are for, really. So let's get started with the number 111. This number means that you are currently manifesting through your thoughts. And so this number is calling for you to pay attention to what you're thinking in that moment so that you can either continue to think that and to really manifest it and laser focus on it, or you need to change what you're thinking because whatever it is that you're thinking at the time is coming to fruition. And so when I was meditating, when I think of the number 1, I think of a person standing there and they look like a number 1. But then I also see them connected to the one, right? God. And God ultimately represents the creator, which you are also a creator and you are actively creating through your thoughts. And so your thought in that moment is creating your reality. And so this number is just trying to bring your attention to that and so that you can pay closer attention because you are creating your reality with that particular thought, whether it is a positive one or a negative one. Now, when I see the number 1111, this still has a very similar meaning because of the number 1, but for whatever reason, I just intuitively interpret that number as more of a positive interpretation. It is just so 111, when I see that, it's telling me to catch myself in my thinking so that I can adjust it so that I can manifest something that I want. Whereas 1111 is kind of calling me to just manifest something, period. So it's not necessarily calling me out for having a thought that I need to adjust, but rather it's just telling me, like, hey, manifest, have fun, which is why a lot of people say 1111, make a wish. Moving on to the number 222. And I don't know why I just remembered, but when I worked in pediatrics on February 2nd, we would wear tutus to work and it was called Tutu Tuesday. I don't know why I just thought of that. Anyway, 222. When I see this number is a little similar to 111, except there is more of a confusion aspect that I'm usually experiencing at the time. So when I see this number, I'm usually in a place of confusion or anxiety, or I am just in a situation where I am needing help and guidance, and it is a very, I wouldn't say volatile, but it can be a volatile situation. I saw 222 a lot when I was going through my awakening, when I was just confused. I didn't know what was reality. I didn't know if I was going crazy. I didn't know who to listen to. I just didn't know, and I just needed guidance. And so I would see 222 a lot. I've also noticed with friends and clients as well. Things just seem to start off with that number, and that often is the number sequence that people notice first. So when I was channeling 222, I saw a person going like this. And actually, when I thought about it, it looked very similar to the tarot card, the Two of Swords. And the person is holding swords like this, right? And so basically, what this number is trying to tell you is to just stop and recalibrate, because you are not in a place to make a good decision right now. And you just need to pump the brakes and back up a little bit and try to gain a little bit more clarity with yourself and with the situation before moving forward with making a decision. So if you find yourself in some sort of situation where you are having trouble deciding what you should do and you need a little bit of guidance and you see this number, it's just asking you to just take a step back and don't make any decisions right now. Maybe meditate, try to clear your energy. Just do something so that you can come back to a neutral and objective state before making a decision. The number 333. This number is associated with spirit guides and ascended masters. So I do remember reading that this number is about ascended masters, but I never understood what that even meant, right? Am I supposed to pray to one, or is there one around me? I didn't really understand. So through my own meditation, what I saw was just in big letters, ask for help. Okay. What this is saying is that you have guides and potentially ascended masters, which a lot of ascended masters are just spirit guides for many people. They are asking you to work with them, to ask for help. They still help you in their own way, but it's a little easier if they know that you, A, want the help, and B, you're actually paying attention to the guidance that they're giving you. And so it's just another like little, hey, we're here to help. So if you want the help, then you need to work with us We are a team, right? And then I remembered the phrase, oh gosh, what is it? Two is company, and three's a crowd. And when I said this phrase in my head, I just saw like guides and ascended masters just like coming like everywhere all over me. And they were just surrounding me as if like we were having a party. And so they looked very eager to help. And so that is what this number is trying to say, is that they are around and ready to assist you, but you kind of need to participate as well and, be open to the guidance that they're going to give you. Moving on to the number 444. So this number is associated with angels. And when I meditated on this number, I saw the phrase, everything is fine. And then I saw two angels behind me putting their hands on my shoulder, saying, like, everything is fine. Okay. So this particular energy is different than the spirit guides. So the spirit guides are trying to step in and assist you and work with you so that you can find some clarity or some answers with whatever situation you find yourself in at the time. The angels, on the other hand, are there just for support, letting you know that you are not alone, that you are very much protected, and that everything is really going to be okay. Angels, although they do assist us, their frequency is more of a unconditionally loving protection. They are respecting your experience and allowing you to go through your process, allowing you to go through your mistakes. They're not necessarily stepping in to correct you or to keep you on your path. Spirit guides, they are there to guide you through your life. They know what contracts you have, that the contracts that you have set up for yourself. They know where you want to go and what direction you want to take. And so they are trying to work with you so that you stay on your soul's path, so that you can live a full and self-actualized existence. Whereas your angels are there to make sure that you're safe, and they are just there to just be there. And they're very loving, and they just want to make sure that you're okay. That's it. So they're kind of like, I don't know. I guess there's different parenting styles, right? There's the one parent that's like the helicopter parent, and that's like, you know, telling you what to do every step of the way. And then there's the other parent that's like, you've got this, you can do it, I believe in you, I love you, just go for it. You're gonna make mistakes, it's okay, I'm here for you. Okay, so that's kind of the difference between the two, or so how I see it. I will often see this number when I'm just kind of going through challenges and I just need you know, a proverbial like hug with like angel wings just to tell me everything is okay. Next, we have the number 555. This number means that change is coming. Now, I don't want you to be scared of this number, okay? Because I have been scared of it for a very long time, because every time I saw it, there was big change that came to my life. Now, not all of it were, really big, but they were big enough. They were big enough to impact my life. But of course, looking at it from hindsight, it has always been for the better. And so every time I see 555, I just know that something fairly significant is going to happen that is going to change something that is going on within my life. So it's going to change a dynamic of some sort, whether it be with my personal life, with my work life, with my relationships with my family, with my romantic relationships, friendships, whatever. Something is just going to come to light and it's going to change the energy. So one example I can give you is that I saw this number a couple of times before in a relationship. It was related to a relationship. I saw this number right before I found out something that they were doing that I did not like. And you know, it didn't come to they didn't admit to it right away, but then they eventually admitted to it. And once they did, it changed the dynamic of that relationship at that time. And so, of course, was I happy about it? No. Am I happy that it happened? Yes, absolutely. And I tell you what, I have not seen 555 so many times as when I was getting ready to move to Texas. I remember I just saw 555 a lot, and I was still deciding on whether or not moving was going to be a good decision for me. And I was still just in that process of trying to decide, and I just saw that number a lot. And I kind of, at the time, I didn't relate it to me moving because I was still deciding if I was going to do that. But little did I know that that was just going to happen anyway, and that was going to bring about a lot of change. So I have found also that the number of times or the frequency in which I see these numbers also means something too. I feel that the more I see this number, the more it's trying to get me to pay attention to that thing because it's probably going to be a little bit bigger of a significance than if I were to just see it once or twice. So, with that example that I use about that relationship, I saw it once, I think, once, maybe twice. I caught it and I saw it and I was like, okay, something's coming. And then that happened and I was like, okay, that's why they sent that to me. But then when I was getting ready to move to Texas, I mean, I saw it all the time, which, you know, comparing those two situations, moving to Texas is significantly bigger. So the number of times of seeing that number, it correlates. So, but again, I don't want you to be scared of it because change is good. Change is really good. Change means growth. It means that you are evolving. So you may as well just embrace it and be grateful that you're even getting like a heads up because not everybody knows about angel numbers, or certainly not everybody believes in them. But if you do, then seeing 555 before something happens, I find it to be very helpful because it gives you the opportunity to get yourself into a space of neutrality so that when the thing happens, you are a little bit more clear-headed and can make better decisions. Moving on to the dreaded 666. This is still considered an angel number, okay? Has this number been associated with, the occult and devil worshippers and things like that? Sure. The reason is because what I have channeled is that the number 666 is associated with Luciferian energy or Lucifer, devil like energy. What I mean by this is Luciferian energy, from what I've channeled, is the energy of separation and self-serving behavior. It is energy that tries to pull you away from the greater whole and to focus it more on serving yourself only. And I will make a video talking about Lucifer, but that's basically what that energy is. It's just trying to pull you away from the collective consciousness and just trying to separate you from the one, from the whole, from God, essentially. And so you can think about certain things that are kind of associated with self-serving behavior and also things that are also associated with the devil, okay? For example, I will see this number when I am too focused on money. I'll just be hyper focused on money, paying bills or wanting to buy something or just something having to do with a little bit of like a scarcity mindset and maybe a little bit of greed. It will just be a more negative energy surrounding money is when I'll most often see it. I don't see this number often, but when I do, it's usually because I'm in that kind of energy. And of course, I don't necessarily mean to be. I'm not like, you know, wanting to rob a bank or wanting to pickpocket someone. It's not like that. But I will just be kind of stressed out, right? About something in regards to money, feeling like I don't have enough of it or feeling I need to make more of it or something like that. And then I'll see the number 666 and it reminds me that I need to calm down. It's okay. I don't need to be hyper focused on money in that sense because money is just an energy and it is something that you attract. And it is also something that requires balance. When it comes in, it also needs to flow out. And so there is just an imbalance that I'm experiencing at the time when I often see that number. But you could, potentially see that number if you find yourself maybe hyper focused on just being selfish in some way. Maybe if you're watching too much porn, perhaps, or maybe you just find yourself in this energy of feeling very depressed or very angry. Just it's just any energy that is pulling you away from unconditional love, really. Now, I will say that there has been one time, and I forgot to mention this in my last video on psychic attacks, but during that time when I was feeling angry and I thought that the anger was coming from me because I had a reason to be angry, but something was fueling this anger and I was starting to become just infuriated. And then I went to sleep that night and had a gruesome nightmare. And when I woke up, I knew that I was experiencing a psychic attack. I forgot to mention that that day before the nightmare, I saw the number 666. And so, again, it is just, it's telling me that there is Luciferian energy amongst us, okay? Or, somewhere around me that I need to pay attention to and I need to catch it and I need to correct it. Because same thing with the money. If I had not gotten that message, like the number 666, I could potentially snowball into some sort of behavior that would just fuel more of that darker separation energy in regards to money. But because I got that message, I was able to catch it and to just reframe my thinking and step out of that and just remind myself that everything is okay and I don't need to hyper focus on something like material wealth. Next, we have the number 777. So this number is associated with spirituality as a whole. And so when I was channeling information on this particular number, it basically was telling me that when I see this number, it is encouraging me to continue down my spiritual path because the direction that I'm going is a good direction. It is usually just validating that what I am doing is a good path for me. So I would see this number a lot when I was exploring a new spiritual practice or some sort of modality. It was basically just encouraging me to keep going down that particular path because that particular experience was going to be beneficial to my spiritual growth. It also comes as a reminder to just keep going with any spiritual growth in general. Keep meditating, keep journaling, keep seeking answers, keep reading, just keep going. And it's a reminder too that your soul is evolving. And it's basically just kind of giving you a nice reminder that you are on the right path. Moving on to the number 888, which is all about money. And it's funny because when I was meditating and getting what 888 meant, I literally heard money, 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 money. Okay, so dumb, but I heard it. So when you see this number, it means that there is an opportunity that is coming your way that is going to lead you to money or financial or material gains. I would often see this number when I was in the middle of a job hunt. And it would usually come right before I would get offered a new job. So obviously, this is a fun one to see. But please keep in mind that seeing this number doesn't necessarily mean that you should take that opportunity. It means that regardless of if you so choose to take it, it will lead to financial gains or material gains. Will you be happy? Not necessarily, because that's not what that message is exactly saying, or at least that's what I've channeled anyway. It means that if you take it, you're going to make money. But if you take that job because you saw 888 and then you ended up really not liking that job, it doesn't mean that you were steered incorrectly. It just means that yes, you were going to make money, but there's a good chance that you were led to that particular job because you were meant to learn a lesson of some sort as well. I had to figure this out because I kept seeing that number during a job hunt, and I would take these jobs and yeah, I would make decent money, but then I just wouldn't really like the job. Of course, it wasn't until a year later that I learned that I was going through these jobs because it was basically telling me that I needed to create something on my own. And I was going to experience working for other people enough to the point where it just became a very uncomfortable and undesirable experience to the point where it was going to push me to open up my own business. So, but regardless, 888, even if it comes in the form of just maybe a cash offer of some sort or just money being given to you, it just usually means money or materials coming your way. And lastly, we have 999, which which represents completion. And the visual I get with this one is a congratulations banner with balloons and confetti. Okay, congratulations, you've completed the thing. You will often see this number when you have finished some sort of cycle, whether it be a karmic cycle or whatever. You will probably see this when you are at the end of something, whether it be you leaving a job. If you are leaving a job and you see the number 999, it means that this is a good call. You have completed that job. Or if you see this number when you are in the middle of a breakup, it's your guides telling you that you have completed that relationship. Congratulations, it's time to move on. I saw this number a lot once I actually started moving to Texas. So, in the process of deciding to move to Texas, I saw the number 555 a lot. But then once I made the decision and pulled the trigger and started packing my things and getting ready to say goodbye to everyone, I saw 999 everywhere, which was really nice because when you make a big decision like that and it's happening so fast, I really had my doubts. Even after seeing the signs, after, feeling really good about where I was going, I still had my doubts. But then I would get those numbers and it would remind me, you have completed your cycle of living in Nevada and it's time to move on. Congratulations. It's just a nice reminder that you are evolving. Now, I did decide to ask about the sequence 000. I personally have never seen this sequence and felt like there was a message being given to me. However, I was just curious, so I decided to ask during meditation. And the message that I got, if I see this number, I guess from now on, because now I have that as a frame of reference, if I see the number 000, they're asking me to come back to a 0 point frequency, meaning that I need to take a step back and to detach myself from everything and everyone, to call back all of my energy and to release energy that is around me and to just come back into this meditative, detached sort of energy where I am just kind of nothing, if that makes sense. It's it, it's asking me to let go of my thoughts, all of the data that's coming into my brain. It's just asking me to just come to a 0 point frequency and to just let go of everything. And in that way, when you come to that energy, you can start to rebuild and reopen up your energy, your intuition, and your thinking from a ground level. And when I was getting this information, there was one particular time in my life where I definitely experienced this. And this is when I was learning Metatronia therapy, which is just an energy healing modality that focuses more on using Archangel Metatron's energy. And it was wild. So when I was given this energy, I remembered going through a period of a few days where I felt like I literally just didn't exist. I was nothing. I didn't identify with anything. I didn't identify with being Catherine, with being a woman, with being a nurse, with being a human. I was just nothing, but I was here. It was such a strange feeling. And I almost wondered if I was going into like a depression or something. It was a very strange feeling, but I wasn't even depressed because I wasn't even identifying with that. Like it was just a question I was asking myself, but I couldn't even say it was that. I was just literally nothing. But then when I went and read through all of the reading material that was given to me to learn this energy, that is exactly what Metatron helps people with, is coming to a 0 point frequency. And it literally said those words. I thought that I made that up when I said that at the time. And no, I didn't make it up. I was just picking up on that energy, and that's exactly what I was experiencing. So I guess now again, I have never felt that energy from seeing the number 000. But what I have gathered now is that when I see that sequence and it really catches my eye, it's asking me to come back to there because I might have jumbled energy or I might just be too chaotic, and it's just asking me to just come back to 0. Which, being at 0 is a good place to be because you have literally everything to gain. So, and then a bonus number, which is the number 144. I have, throughout my awakening, have seen this number a lot. And I eventually learned that this number was to tell me that I am considered, which a lot of us who are going through an awakening are considered to be part of this, is the 144,000 prophecy in the Bible. I am not familiar with the Bible. I think I've read it, that particular message or passage once. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am. But I believe it is referring to, I don't know if it's like the Israelites or just a group of God's followers that are considered like the true followers that will be saved during the end of days, right? Something like that. Or they will, I don't really know exactly. What I interpret seeing that number as is being part of a collective group that are currently going through an awakening now, that are going to help others go through an awakening and lead the rest of humanity and the rest of the planet to the new earth. And so if you see this number, it means that you are going to help this planet shift into a higher frequency. And so it's just kind of a nice little reminder that if you are going through an awakening and it's very confusing and it's scary and you don't know what to do, you don't know why you're here, there's just a lot going on and it's overwhelming. If you see this number, it means that you're kind of a foot soldier for the new earth, for the 5D frequency, and that you are very much needed. And so if you need a reminder that that is why you're here, then you're probably going to see this number. So if you end up seeing this number, or if you see 144000, then congratulations, I guess. You're one of us. There are many of us, but in the grand scheme, there's still not that many of us. But you're not alone. We're all in this together. And the future of this planet is going to be a bright one. And it's going to be because of the awakened ones, which is really exciting. I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I will see you next time. Bye.